So this problem is asking us to find y double prime, and so y double prime second derivative, and our original function is y equals e to the power of x to the fifth plus 9x. So for that first derivative, I want you to realize, the derivative of 9x, yeah, that's just 9, okay? But e to the power of x to the fifth, that's a chain rule. It's not simply e to the power of x. That inside is something other than x. It's a whole nother function. So chain rule says take the derivative of the outside, multiply it by the derivative of the inside. What is the inside again? It's x to the fifth, so that means the outside is e to the something. So derivative of the outside, e to the something, and something just happened to be x to the fifth. Now multiply by the derivative of that something or that inside. And the derivative of that inside is 5x to the fourth. And then on the end there, that's, not 9x, but just 9. Okay, I had written an x and I had to erase it. Okay, so to simplify that out, I would just write that as 5x to the fourth times ex to the fifth plus 9. Okay, so now that's your first derivative. That's not what it's wanting. It's wanting the second. So for the second, when I'm taking the derivative of this, well, the 9, that derivative is 0, so that just completely goes away. But the 5x to the fourth times e to the x to the fifth, that's a product rule between 5x to the fourth and e to the power of x to the fifth. It just so happens that inside of that product rule, there is a chain rule. That chain rule happens with e to the power of x to the fifth. So let's do the product rule. Okay, so we write down the first function of 5x to the fourth, and then we multiply it by the derivative of the second function. Well, the second function being e to the power of x to the fifth. Again, that's that chain rule. We just did that. So the derivative of the outside is e to the something. You then write back down your inside and multiply by the derivative of the inside, which is 5x to the fourth power. So to finish out the product rule, so far I have the first times the derivative of the second plus the second, so copy paste e to the power of x to the fifth times the derivative of the first, and the derivative of the first is 20x cubed. And then, the derivative of 9, there's no need to put that plus 0 right there, but I guess you could. Let's see. 5 times 5, that will give us 25. X to the fourth times x to the fourth is x to the eighth, e to the x to the fifth, plus 20x cubed e to the x to the fifth. Now look, you could pull out a GCF. There's a GCF of e to the x to the fifth. There's a GCF of 5. There's a GCF of x cubed. We're not going to pull it out. You could, for it to be fully factored. I'm not going to do it in this case, I don't guess, because it's not like it's a fraction, and that GCF might cancel with something at the bottom. So we'll leave it just like that.